With the speaker out of the way, that allows us to get to this silver bracket right here. This silver bracket right here is the factory amplifier, and we need to pull it out. To get this panel out, there's 3 8mm bolts, one here, one behind the harness, and one located here on the bottom. Unclip this annoying piece, and then you can pull the amplifier forward. Like I said, wiggle it a little bit, and the amplifier will come out. With the speaker and amplifier out on this side, we go now to our big bin of foam and grab this guy, the DSR1 module here, because it's time for this guy to get mounted in place. One cool thing that you're going to want to do is inside with the DSR1 is this. This is a USB extension. It is going to plug into the DSR1. You don't need to flash this module. You don't need to plug it into a laptop. You don't need to do anything with it right now at all during this installation. Along with that USB, there are a couple other harnesses that need to be plugged into this thing, and that's what we were talking about previously when I had mentioned whatever factory radio you have or aftermarket, this will integrate into it. It's in the big pieces of foam. There are a couple different harnesses. This one here that has this gray plug on it, this is the one we're going to be using. This is the factory amplifier speaker plug. So we'll set that over here. We're also going to be using this big guy right here that has this giant end that looks identical to the radio's harness. This one is going to be the universal harness that allows us to integrate into all those factory systems. On it is also some speaker wire ends, because if it is the non-amplified stereo, you're going to be getting your speaker wires from behind the radio. The third harness in here is this one. This is the universal harness. It's the one with the RCAs on it. This would be if you're going to be using an aftermarket radio of some kind, you'll need this. So we'll give this back to him in case he decides to change out the factory radio at some point. There's one more harness over here, which is this guy, which is the subwoofer level controller. This needs to be plugged in now too, which we'll set over here onto that. And that is going to be for this knob located right here, which we'll talk about when we get to this part. Let's hop back into the vehicle and get this factory harness plugged in, because we need to route these wires over to where the DSR1 is before we mount the DSR1 in place. So when you pull this apart, there's 3 pigtails that come off of it that you need to deal with. The first one is this little guy here that has a black end and a white end. This is the data bus wires that are going to go up behind the glove box, which we'll show you a tight shot of that in a second. Next is going to be this guy, the thicker of the one that has the most wiring. This is for the DSR1. This one needs to go over there. The second one is the speaker wires, which in this application we will not be using, but if you were doing the non-amplified, you would need. These can be tucked in our dash. We don't need to run those. And of course you have a male and a female end for the power connector. I just like to clip it in for right now just so I know where it needs to be. And then I'll run those down up to behind the glove box. There's a big metal brace in this dash. Try to stay away from it if you can. These wires do have flexible loom over them to prevent any damage, but you're never too sure. You just want to be careful. Come on over into the glove box. I'll show you we're going to plug that in. In the glove box, you see these 2 things. There's a green bin and a white bin. The white bin has green, the green bin has white. On the end here, you notice it has white. That means that this is going to get plugged into there, just like that. Now you go, why does it have this black one on here? The reason why the black one is on there is that if for some reason all of these green bins are full, you can unplug one here, plug it into this, plug this into that one. That way you always have a place to plug it in. Do not plug it into the white bin with green. It's a totally different interface. We don't need that. Make sure you zip tie this thing into place. And just in case you were wondering, yes, it does come with zip ties so that you can do that. Doing the same thing that we did for that side, we need to run this wire over to here. I would love to say this is super simple, but it's kind of clumsy. While you're running the power harness for the DSR1, it only makes sense to run the base knob wire, which is going to end up in the same place. For this, we'll just zip tie up this speaker wire out of the way, tuck it up behind the radio. Before I plug in the DSR1, I like to unplug it from the radio like I had it plugged in before. Next, I'm going to take the gray speaker plug that I had, plug that into my harnesses down here. And at this part, we have way more apart than I really want to have apart, because I would love for the radio to go back into the dash at this point, which we could, but we're not going to yet because we still need to put this top cover on. There is one more harness that needs to plug into the DSR1, and that is the signal output off to the amplifiers underneath the seat, which means at this point it is time to remove the seat so that we can get the amplifier set in place and our wires ran in the direction they need to go. To do that, we need a giant seatbelt torque. This is a T50, and I'm going to tell you right now, these bolts on a Jeep are the worst. If you don't have an impact wrench, you're just going to be doing it by hand. Just go slow, not like you're going to have a choice, and yeah, you're going to wish you had your Wheaties for breakfast. Getting this amplifier in place underneath the seat is gonna be a minute. You're gonna have to kind of manhandle it just a bit, but it all lines up and it goes where it needs to go. The thing you need to keep in mind is the speaker wire. If it is the non-amplified, the speaker wires are gonna run up into the dash. If it is the amplified, you're gonna need to cut the zip ties so that you can run the speaker wire over to the kick panel. Okay, just get out of here. Remove this trim panel here to run your wire through. It easily just pries out of the way. The amplifiers will look like this once you get them mounted into place. It uses the factory screw here, and then the factory ground point is also your ground point, and then there'll be that back brace and the one on this side as well. Once you remove this, you can then run your power and signal wire up this side. Your sub wire can go towards the back to where it'll connect with the T. The signal wire still needs to get up through the center console, but we need to crawl up underneath here to remove this guy right here. That is our grommet for the power wire. On the power wire, they provided us with our own grommet that's going to go into place, which is kind of nice. One of the things we knew we were going to run into on this is the fact that it's a 392. The 392 has a big engine in it that is, wow, super awesome. But it also has a hood scoop, this guy right here. And the Rockford fuse holder is supposed to mount right there. Looking all sexy, super cool. But as you can see, this intake here is going to get in the way of it. We knew this going into it because that's one of the things Rockford had us talk about when we were talking about the unit. How are we gonna make this work? And we've come up with an idea that I think is pretty solid. Will allow us to reuse part of their bracket. So the plan is to remove this from here. We're going to cut it here at this 90, and we're going to take this fuse holder and simply mount it along here. The reason we're going to do it that way is because when this is closed, it actually sits about that far off of the firewall, which gives us plenty of room to run our wire. It just doesn't give us enough to run it the way they've got it configured. It seems like a pretty solid solution for this little problem we're going to run into. The power wire is long enough to do it that way, which is cool because we're limited on how much power wire they gave us, plug and play system, and this seems to be the best alternative that we can come up with. This is what it should look like when you're done with it. The orange wires are your signal. Multicolor wires here are your speaker inputs, your data power connection, bass knob, as well as the USB for if we ever need to do backups. All the wiring should be running to the other side, not the orange side. This should be flat like this so that it can flip and go into place just like that. And once you have it tucked into where it needs to go, replace those 3 8mm screws that you took out. Now, if you don't have the amplified version, there are 3 black 8mm screws in the screw bin that it came with, so that you can add this in. You don't have to go hunt for your own screws. With that into place, put the speaker in. But before you put the speaker in, make sure you screw this onto the back of the speaker pod. Before you get too deep into it, make sure to plug the speaker back in and then add in all the screws that we removed. And that gets us this side of the Jeep all put back together. We're getting ever closer to being done with this. We still have a few steps left to do, but I'm going to get this all put back together in reverse order, get my top piece put back on here, and basically get this dash put back together.